Welcome back to Google Cloud Next 26. We are live from Las Vegas. I'm Alison Kosik alongside John Furrier. And now we're going to get into sort of the enterprise leadership perspective, and why do you think this is an important piece of the puzzle?
Because the full stack that Google announced today, which is moved from tools to operating systems for agentic, is all powered by AI infrastructure. That involves a lot of different things, the holy trinity of compute, storage, and networking, and database. All that stuff's going to be substrate that agents will build on, so there's a lot of stuff under the hood. And this segment's going to be great because we're going to expand on that and see how it all plays out.
All right, let's lift the hood with Ram Poornachandran. I just butchered your name. One more time. Ram Poornachandran.
That is accurate.
Got it.
There we go, yay. You're the VP of AI and Architecture, and Gary Newe, you're the VP of Solutions Engineering, both from F5.
Yep.
Welcome to theCUBE.
Thank
so
you.
let me start, and either of you can jump in to the first question. You know, there's just a lot of hype about Gen AI productivity gains. From an enterprise leadership perspective, where do you think these deployments typically fall short when they try to scale?
Sure, I can jump in. So generally when we think about AI, you have two pieces, right? It's your personal productivity and also process productivity, right? Everybody has incorporated AI into your day-to-day, but that doesn't translate into big gain for an enterprise. So where we see big gains is how do you incorporate AI into existing processes? How do you bring, we are clearly in the agentic era today, right? As part of that is, how do you deploy agents and incorporate into your process? The other angle to that is, AI cannot be like a bolt-on, right? Yeah. You have to completely redesign your business processes, whether it's front office, back office, is to talking about being AI native, right? So we went from cloud native to now being AI native. So in this world, you have to redefine your process as AI native. And change management is also part of this, right? How do you bring your workforce along? There's a genuine fear, right? Is AI taking the jobs, right? Is bringing your employees along this journey, telling that don't fear AI, experiment, learn, right? There's giving them a lot of opportunities to learn and experiment, and creating that environment where they can actually experiment and thrive, learn on their own is important.
You know, Google announced the full stack, I mentioned on my little intro there, that's enabling this, it's accelerated. It used to be disruptive enablement when someone would lose, but in this market, everybody's winning.
Yeah.
So it's almost like disruption and acceleration enablement, because now there's so much going on, and hybrid cloud distributed computing has won the game.
Yep.
Heterogeneous environments, we've all been there in networking, you guys know this.
Yeah.
This is now standard.
Yep.
Kubernetes is solidified, containers are roles of that is super important. Take us through your thoughts on this, because this is where the action is right now. The agentic enablement, it's almost that control plane. And underneath that control plane is a lot of stuff. Networking, compute, there's going to be agents in the DevSecOps area. So things like security and compliance, all been worked on. So what's your guys' reaction to that? What's your opinion?
Well, I think I think we're at the stage now where we're seeing a lot of people move from the proof of concept stage into production. And I think everything you've said there, the underlying infrastructure, the underlying security, the underlying compliance, we don't know if they're ready yet. And I think a lot of people are finding out that they are not ready in some cases, and that's kind of causing some delays. So we're at this kind of incubation stage with all these new ideas. Like Ram mentioned, we have to reinvent some of our processes, our business processes, to take advantage of these things. So there's a lot of work to do, and we have to build a solid foundation, I think, to build upon these.
Remember not to throw back some history here, but remember in the cloud native wave, which obviously still happened in the early days, when Shift Left came out.
Oh yeah.
Remember Shift Left?
Yes.
Get some security into the CI/CD pipeline? Okay, that made a lot of sense, that's just evolution. Security and agents is huge, because you see OpenClaw, it's certainly not ready for the enterprise. There's malware everywhere, but it shows the future. Take us through how you guys see that, because as you rethink agents to run in production at scale, you got to nail security.
You do.
You got to have delegation. It's not just APIs, agents will go cross boundaries. How hard is that? Scope the problem statement, because I think this is where people get confused. Oh, agents, they'll just solve everything.
It's incredibly hard problem, right? It's an incredibly hard problem. So when you think about enterprise applications, it's not just the data. It's not getting data to the agents. It's getting data to the agents and applying proper rollback access security to it, right? Is the agent working on my behalf and is able to see only the data that I'm allowed to access? So how do you bring that control layer, and how do you then have the agent take an action on behalf of you and have the proper audit trail to say, this agent took an action on behalf of me, and I can have that proper trace back. If I need to go in front of an auditor or something, I can say, this agent took action because of this. Here is the audit trail. And also the accountability saying, this agent took this action because this is the model it was trained on, or this is the data it was trained on. So having that layer is very important.
Jensen Huang said a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, agents are going to be, IT will be the HR department. Well, what he kind of meant was, kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment, but he wasn't wrong actually. You're going to have tokens, they're going to be for work, the agents are doing work, but there's going to be a lot of, did they do the job? So HR would say, hey, performance review.
Yeah.
That's basically getting at observability. And observability is not a new concept. But can you guys share your thoughts on this? Because it's the same paradigm, but applied to a different situation.
Yeah.
What is that thread? How do you connect the dots between observability that we know in networking and cloud native, and how does that translate into the agents?
Well, I think that the lens you have to observe it through has to be a little bit different, because we can't look at the packets or the API calls. Because these systems are non-deterministic, you have to look at the intent. You have to look at how that intent changes based on the context, and you have to be able to build a picture around that. Like Ram said, you have to be able to audit why the agent made a decision, when the agent made a decision, and what the agent actually did. And to do that, then you need, like you said, you need this thread that connects everything together and puts some guardrails around it. And we believe that these guardrails are best suited at the inference layer, where the actual agents are making these decisions and interpreting this data. That's where we believe is kind of the place to secure this at scale.
And Ram, real time too. This is not like, hey, not post-mortem.
Yes, for sure. And the other important aspect is evaluations, right? So there's the whole thing of evaluations. It's agent testing, we call. It's just not a one-time activity. If you take an agent and you want to put it into production, it's not a one-time activity. You need to continuously monitor, is the agent trying to do the same thing? You don't want drift in the system, new data coming in, new models coming in, and the agent could not necessarily produce the effectiveness that when you start building it, can drift over a period of time. So that's why observability is important to say, is agent doing every day? And if it drifts, who does the agent call?
Sorry, he had me at intent. Stop for a second, hold on 1 second. Seriously? Intent?
Intent?
This is something that can be built in?
Yeah.
Talk me through that. Sorry, I'm just walking in on this conversation here.
But you have to be able to understand what the goal is. So if in this new world where IT or HR, right, employees are going to be directors of agents, and they will have their agents, and then you have to ask an agent what you want it to do. The agent has to interpret your intent. It's not enough if you say, agent create a PowerPoint. It has to say, I need to create a PowerPoint based on Gary. Gary has this role. Gary uses this data in context, so I know he said this, but his intent is this. I'm going to do it based on this information.
How do you put up the guardrails, though? I mean, it seems like that's open to just tons of liability.
It is. So there's two things that I think are key from what we're seeing from our customers and even internally ourselves. The first thing is continuous testing, and to be able to test these agents, and not just network testing, but again, test their intent, test the outcomes. Really, I guess, we call it agentic warfare, but really kind of, penetrate what they want to do, understand their thinking, ask them the same thing 5 different ways so you understand then roughly what you're going to get back. And then to take that knowledge and then put guardrails around where these decisions are being made. And the guardrails then will allow you to kind of really define, well, what can I ask this agent? What can this agent do within the context that it has? And what is this agent allowed to output? Because if we don't do that, we'll have agents. There was
hitting databases.
Yeah.
HR, payroll.
Yep.
Root access to the servers.
Yeah.
Well, we see two agents argue against each other and run up a massive cloud bill, right?
And the other thing is...
Or agents that are adversary.
Yes.
You can have malicious agents, espionage coming into the agent organization.
You just blew my mind.
Okay. I mean, warfare, I like the warfare methodology because
Yeah.
there is going to be fleets of agents.
Yes.
Workers.
Yeah.
So really kind of training them like an employee
Yeah.
is really kind of like what you're kind of getting at.
And even when the agent, apart from the agent, actually from an employee perspective is also, there's a lot of prompts that are happening, right? How do you actually protect your enterprise data from prompt injection or model hijacking, right? That's how our products come in, really play into the ecosystem of AI security.
Yeah.
We are super excited to announce like the F5 guardrails in our
right.
agent ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
That announced today as AI gateway ecosystem, right?
Yeah, it's Google's agent framework, their agent cloud.
And what does it do?
Framework. So Google have built a framework that allows companies like F5 to insert their solutions in to make it easier for our customers, because like, let's face it, look around, this is not an easy solution, and it takes an ecosystem to solve these problems. So working with partners like Google and a lot of other vendors around, we can come together, because we have to as an industry, at this time of massive evolution, come together and just help our customers really get the benefit of what we can see coming down the road.
Paint the picture of that, because I was going to ask that question. You jumped ahead of me on that one. Where does F5 fit into the puzzle piece of Google Cloud? Because you guys have a lot of different things. You got the announcement. Just paint the picture for us where you guys fit in the stack. What role do you play, and why?
So our role in the stack, in the stack with Google Cloud and with our customers who have hybrid cloud, because that's pretty much kind of what we see globally right now, is we help our customers secure and deliver their applications and secure and deliver their agents and their AI-based applications. And we do that through integrations with Google Cloud natively and through Google Cloud Marketplace. We also do that, and we're doing this ourselves with our own implementation of Gemini, is using our own F5 AI guardrail solution to enforce that control around what these agents and these systems can do, and to use F5 AI Red Team, which is the other solution, to continually test these solutions. And working with Google, we're making these available in the marketplace for our customers to be able to one-click deploy and just use them very, very easily.
Yeah, and then we have the full stack, right? So when Gary talked about red teaming, we have red teaming and we have remediate, and that actually flows into our guardrails product. So it's a full integrated AI observability, or like protecting.
Yeah, it's like a trial run. It's like, okay, let's go figure out what they can do.
Yeah, and see what happens.
See what happens. It's the red teaming.
Yeah.
Okay, let's simulate. Simulation's a huge concept right now. Well, we just had a great conversation with McKinsey on digital twins on all levels of the stack. You know, you got low levels. Okay, what's the hottest area for you guys right now in terms of under the hood? Because obviously you got all kinds of connectivity and connective tissue. That's not just networking, pure networking, but it's networking. They're networking paradigms. What do you guys, what's hot for F5 right now?
So internally we are started the agentic AI journey. So we actually started being a Google Gemini customer now, and we believe, like you said, how do we plan for our workforce to actually embrace this new AI native way of working? That's all on the enterprise side. On the product side is how can we be best customer internally, right? How can we take our products, red teaming, guardrails, and integrate that with Gemini, and show this model way of being a customer zero and enabling the organization. We have 6,500 employees. How do we make everybody a 2X person, right?
Yeah, and AI workloads are running that. The number one question I get, not question, but comment from practitioners is, our North Star is to run AI workloads at scale in production.
Yeah.
That's a North Star. Everyone strives for that goal. What would be your advice to that? Because now we're starting in the first inning, whatever you want to call early days of agentic.
So the goal is how many agents each employee is going to have, right? And that is it's an important metric to have. And once you have the agents for you, how many times the agents are getting activated? That tells you how often you're using it, how effectively you're using it. Then we can get into the outcome measurements. But right now in this agentic world, it's more about adoption first. Let's adopt it, right? How many agents can you build by yourself?
Yeah.
How many agents the organization can build? Right? We are in this race to build agents.
It sounds like a budget meeting. Okay, I got headcount over here. Well, your agents aren't really doing much work.
Yeah.
Let's move them over to Gary's department.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is not
Retire
conceptual.
these agents, right?
Get rid of those agents.
Yeah.
Tip them out.
Yeah.
You know, all kidding aside, but this is the new reality.
Yeah, how many agents? How many agents are we going to build? Right?
I think it's important to understand
Yeah.
as well, like you have to have a framework in place, and what we're seeing with our customers is that it's not just about how many agents do you deploy, is my infrastructure up to it? Agents don't sleep. You know, workers take time off, they take vacation. Agents go 24/7 all the time. Agents have access to all of your data. Can they get the data fast enough to make them productive? So there's underlying infrastructure questions, there's underlying policy questions, there's underlying kind of new tools questions that we have to answer as an industry. And we're working with a lot of our customers on these problems right now. We're seeing tremendous growth in these areas.
Governance is super important, like Gary said, like governance is super important. We got to get that correct, right?
Yeah. What's going to separate the leaders, final question, from the laggards? Because the old days was, let's see how it plays out, but the model shifted. You got to get in the game. You guys got the guardrails, great announcement, good to see that. So certainly we see that happening, but what's the template? What's the best practice for not missing the boat, so to speak, at the same time, keeping up to speed on the velocity? I mean, I've heard people say, I locked in on this model, and all of a sudden a new model comes out. So it's definitely a systems game, for sure.
So the playbook is going to be, we got to have guardrails, right? So you have to have, sometimes go slow to go fast, is we got to pave path for agent workloads. If you use these tools and technologies that are approved inside the corporation, you get like fast lane, right? If you want to play outside of those technologies that are not approved, you got to take a ticket, we got to do the evaluation, like make sure security is good, we go through all the 9 yards, and then enable those workloads. The other piece is security, AI security, and AI ops is going to be foundational.
Yeah.
Just like when we went from DevOps world to now this new agentic world, AI ops is going to be critical.
It's like AppSec reviews back in the old days. This application is reviewed, push it into production.
Yeah.
That got faster.
Yeah. We got to apply the same lessons to agentic world too.
Yeah. Well, guys, congratulations. And what do you think about the show?
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's crowded, lines get in, lines around the corner.
Yeah.
Google's Cloud Next is booming.
It is. Yeah, it's gone. Like I've walked through the floor.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It takes multiple hours to walk through the floor.
Oh, it does.
Well,
yes.
thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, you're watching theCUBE, the leader in live technology coverage. We'll be right back.